I say all of the time that had I put the same energy into a different business model in construction, I think I'd be a lot better off, but I don't think I'd be the same person. And for that, I'm glad I stayed in construction. I graduated college in 2009. I'd already read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I knew I wanted to have a business one day, but I honestly thought I'd end up in Dallas as a project manager first, making really good money and save and end up starting something. And those jobs just weren't there like we're told when we were freshmen signing up to go into construction management school. And so I dug ditches and I would go during the day and apply for jobs. They were building this hospital called Women's Hospital in Baton Rouge, and I'd gone in there a couple times because they were actually building the project. So instead of going to home office, I was like going on to job sites. The lady's like, I can't let you see the boss. You know you can't see the boss. The third time I went, she goes, hold on. So some grizzly looking angry white man comes in. He's like, are you Justin? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, come with me. So I go back to his office. He plops down in his chair and he's like, give it to me. And I'm all like, you know, he looks at it, he looks at me, he looks at it, he looks at me, he flops it on the table. He's like, you mean to tell me you've come in here 3 or 4 times to stop a $30-40 million project to see the boss because you want a job? Yes, sir. Well, I like that. Offer me a job. Boom. But we all kind of got paid really well. I was making like 60 grand a year. And so what I did is I went to the bank and I said, listen, I get my checks auto drafted, but I want you to push everything but my per diem into this other bank account because I wanted to get a contractor's license. And to get a contractor's license, you had to have a net worth of $10,000, which or myself or anybody in my family had. It took me about 6 months to get the money saved up. And I went and applied for a residential contractor's license. And then I moved the money to another bank and went and applied for my commercial. And that was 14 years ago in March. Now we have over 200 men, 25 states. We do all of America, the Caribbean.
How do you scale that up from working for someone else to then going off on your own?
When I started off, I had $2,500 payrolls, like 2 or 3 guys. I never forget my first line of credit was $15,000, First American Bank. Begged the lady to get a line of credit because I had $2,500 payrolls. And at that time, that was a whole lot of money to me. And we were doing these 30 by 40s in backyards. We're doing sheds, man. I'm 24, 25. So I'd keep a tool belt in the truck for the guys that didn't show up to work. Then I'd put slacks in there so I could go beg for money at the bank and a polo to go try to sell a job. And I did that, and I worked out of an F-150 for 4 years, 5 years. And then I eventually got to a place where I knew I needed more systems. So I got really heavy into E-Myth. E-Myth is a book by Robert E. Gerber. It talks about the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. Having that insight for me was actually really important because I had a really good understanding of what I had to be to my business and what did I need to replace myself with. I needed a really, really good technician to really help me with the guys, and because the buildings were getting bigger and bigger and more complex. So when you go from the backyard to doing a school project, it's no longer columns, purlins, and girts. And so there's all these intricate details that now I can literally in my mind see, but it's only because damn near every roof I did for the first 3 years of commercial leaked. And I had to go get all these certifications. I had to go to Pennsylvania to get certified to do Butler MR24 roofs, which are on every Costco in America, by the way. I had to go to do the Nucor test to make sure I knew how to put their roof on because every manufacturer has a little bit of a different detail so they can get their patent on it. In the specs that the architect writes, which is again completely different than doing a backyard Mueller building, you have to be qualified to do these roofs because a lot of times they have what's called a no dollar 20-year warranty on it, which means the manufacturer comes out with a feeler gauge, a camera, and anything he can to poke holes in it and take a bunch of photos, and they make these 20-page reports. And they're like, no, you have to do this, this, and this, and this, and they'll hold your money until you do it. So making the jump from the backyard to commercial, I took some blows.
How do you get jobs like that? Because those are pretty substantial jobs.
Yeah, so I'll tell you exactly what I did. There's this organization called the Metal Building Contractors Erectors Association.
It's a mouthful to say. Could you say that again?
Metal Building Contractors and Erectors Association. I'm still a part of it. And so I sought out mentorship, and there was guys at companies, like there's a company in New Jersey named Thomas Phoenix, Sean, Eric, Gary. They really took me under their wing. They were really good to me. They really helped me. And they gave me a proposal template. I took their name off of it, put mine on it, made sure I understood it, but it made me look big on paper. We weren't big. We had like 2 trucks, but it made us look big. It made us look legit. And then I know that every project has a pre-job walk. So I knew that the architects made the GCs do a pre-job walk. Like if they don't show up to that, they can't bid it. So I started calling the architects and asking for the pre-job walk form because I knew like 2 GCs at this time. So I might get 1 invite out of 10 general contractors for the same job, or I could find out everybody that's bidding it and just send my bid anyway. So what I ended up doing is making what we call now a pre-qualification package, which was like a company resume. And I would send them a bid and say, hey, I know bid day's crazy. Good luck. I hope y'all kill it today. But instead of building a $100,000 job to 1 GC, I'd send it to 10. And I had scenarios where I would win the job and then the GC that didn't win would have steel on the ground and need somebody. And so I ended up getting on all these people's bid lists. And when I did that, I hired an estimator. And then we built a very strong system around every panel we put in, every kind of column. So the spreadsheet I worked on for years, just fine tuning every little thing to spit out man hours. Because what's dangerous in our business, if people will square foot something, but if it has 47 windows in it, you're going to be there an extra 2 or 3 weeks. So for any kind of material we've ever installed, we have a man hour budget to put in set amount per day. And that way I could trust that if my estimator, if he just puts the data in correctly, if he just sees the drawing correctly and reads the details, that it would spit me out a number that was competitive. And so what he would do is he would send me 3 or 4 a week. And then we ended up getting to where we're bidding 3 to 5 a week, every week. And what I would do is I was running between jobs. I was like my own general superintendent at this time. He would be back in the office. I'd be visiting all the job sites all over the place. And I'd pull over, steal Wi-Fi off my phone, open a MacBook, go over it with him on speakerphone, look at the drawings with him just to double and triple check. And we'd spit 3 to 5 bids out a week. And then we started doing millions in revenue. And then I had my next problem is scaling the manpower and then making sure the systems put me in a place where I could trust that the work would be done correctly. So even today we have what's called a project process. Every mistake we've ever made, from unloading the truck to shaking the steel out, to hanging the steel, to sheeting the walls, to putting the roof on, to seaming the roof, that list is there and it's every mistake we've ever made, because one of the most powerful things that you can possibly have in construction is historical data for estimating. So that spreadsheet I was talking about with those man hours factors, for us to know how correct they are, it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to have really strong books. And I think having strong books in construction, particularly trade construction, is one of the most important things a guy could do, because if you don't know the historical data of what got you to the profit or not profit on the job, then you're going to make the mistake again.
How often are you unprofitable on the jobs? Because I'd imagine, I've seen it before, where a contractor will bid a job, and if they're held to it, sometimes they're losing money. They just underestimate how much work goes into something.
I've lost money on a bunch of jobs, man. Yeah. In fact, in that phase, in that growth phase, it would really look like this. Make a bunch of money, break even, lose money. Make a bunch of money, break even, lose a little bit, make a little bit, lose money. It was really around scaling. Mm-hmm. You got this one guy that's like your ace. You want to put him on the best jobs you can. And you still have guys not showing up. You still have blood on projects. You still have steel showing up incorrectly. You have forklifts breaking down. You have man lifts breaking down. You have trucks stolen. It's nothing for me to get a call on a Sunday and be like, the guy's just gotten a big bar brawl in Michigan and cops are looking for trucks with your logo on it. These things happen. It is construction. And so just like planting seeds with men, cutting the bad ones, keeping the good ones.
What makes them bad? And can you spot that ahead of time when hiring? Are there red flags that you see in people where it's I could kind of tell this might go there?
I can tell you when it turned around for me. I created a system around hiring. I'm a big fan of Patrick Lencioni's books. So he's got the ideal team player. He's got this thing called humble, hungry, smart. But what we start with is proven competence. I would run ads and they would call, they would lie about how long they've been doing it. They've been working at the competition for 3 months and they tell you they've been there 5 years and they want to leave you to get a raise. So what I did is I was like, okay, well, I need to be recruiting at least 1.25% more than I'm bidding. So what I did is I created very loaded metal building questions that you would only know if you've been doing it for quite some time. After we've proven competence, I think the best part of this phone process starts. Humble, hungry, smart. Would you be willing to work under another foreman to learn our systems for a little while until you learn how we do it? Would you be willing to work for $1 an hour less for the first month so we can see you're as good as you say you are? Hungry. Would you be willing to leave town and work weekends if we need you to hit a schedule? Smart. Tell me what you don't like about your current company. We're trying to get them to talk shit. We really push them on this one.
Is that a test if they talk shit?
If they talk shit, they're out.
But then again, they're trying to be honest with you. If you ask them what you don't like.
Yeah, but because they'll run with it. They will run with it. There's a big difference between, I don't really like it here. I don't feel like I get treated very well. I'll leave it at that. Or I don't see growth here and maybe they haven't come through on the promises they gave me. Things like that. Versus these MF, they're trash, blah, blah, blah. They're idiots. The guys in the office are morons. They don't know how to estimate. Bro, the last thing I need in my business is that guy talking to my guys. And then luck. We ask them how their luck is. How are things going for you? How's your life going? And when you have guys that come to you telling you how unlucky they are, they will bring that bad luck into the company. What I do, because I'm not on these calls, and neither is my operations manager. Have you ever heard of the Fibonacci series?
No, I have not.
So it's like this concept that most things in nature are an odd number and that humans struggle seeing the difference between 2 and 3. You can definitely see the difference between 1 and 5, 5 and 9, 9 and 13, but you can feel the difference. And so let's say we get to the question about hungry. Are you willing to work out of town on short notice or work weekends if we need you to? Well, yeah, I could do that for y'all if you really needed me to. Or yes, absolutely. I'll go anywhere you want me to go. I'm here to work. Completely different answer. Both yes. because they'll tell you whatever they need you to hear for them to get a job. But the flexion in their voice, because I'm not on the call, I can't hear it. But she rates, using the Fibonacci series, how much of a yes it was. So 13 being the highest. And then the total score is anybody over a certain score gets to talk to Renee, and she's our operations manager. If we talk to 100 guys, Renee will talk to 5 or 6 maybe. But I get rid of all the lies. I get rid of all the drama just by these 5 categories and how they tell you yes or no.
This is how I look at products, man. It's like, I don't have anything to hide. You should always sell stuff because you believe it works, right? And the reason that I support my friends in the real world is because I know it works. I see these guys posting every day. I talk to these guys. I talk to the professors. I talk to Dylan all the time. I talk to Tristan. They're making money, bro. You literally go to college and get thousands of dollars in debt. What, to get a job that you don't want anyway? Because you go on Instagram and some asshole's making, millions chilling on the beach because he has his own agency or a copywriting business or whatever. Like, if they want to attack Andrew, they can, man. But like, bro, it works. And so for me, I feel good about promoting the real world because I literally see people's lives changing. And that makes me feel good, regardless of losing a channel or getting attacked for it or having people hate me because I support my friends. Well, too fucking bad. The real world actually works. If you're interested in joining the real world, go to the website. And if you don't, it's all good, man. Love you anyway. Watch my content. Hopefully there's something I can help with if it's not the real world, but I really do believe it works because I've seen it myself.
It was like a candy store, man. I was a kid in a candy store. I was like, I've never seen this much information in one place.
You get all these wealth creation methods and they give you a viable step-by-step tutorial on how to achieve them.
I have 3 to 4 clients right now, giving me around $2,500 a month.
Explain to me the results that you got. I believe I'm at 60,000 even now. How much money are you making now?
These past 12 months, I've been able to make like over 500K.